Thank you for joining us today. We're going to be talking about the new AI features in Starfish ETL and what that means for your projects going forward. There will be time for questions at the end. We also have an FAQ section, so hopefully maybe we can get ahead of some of those questions for you. But obviously, if there's anything that we don't answer, please let us know and we'll do our best to get those answered for you. So my name is Deneen Madura. I'm the Director of Marketing here at Starfish. Our presenters today are going to be our founder and CEO, Sam Biardo, and our lead developer, Aaron Hoekstra. So I'm going to hand the floor over to Sam to take us through our agenda.
Thanks, Deneen. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the new AI that we put into Starfish, and we will discuss the key benefits. We're going to then do some demos for you. We're going to show you how you can do SQL queries assisted by AI, field mapping assisted by AI, script writing assisted by AI. We'll go through a series of FAQs at the end that we think we've guessed, and then we'll talk about what we're working on for our next release of Starfish, followed by questions. So this is sort of the evolution of us building integrations. So in 2005, custom integration was all built from scratch. And frankly, it was 1 to 2 months of work always. In 2012, on the other hand, we started building Starfish, and we cut that down to about a month, 3 to 4 weeks in the first generation of using Starfish. And then in 2021, we made a series of enhancements, cutting it down even further. So we're down to about 2 weeks for an integration. And then we added our stitching engine in 22, and for a class of integrations, primarily things like CRMs to ERPs. Once they were in the stitching engine, that would generate a starting template, and typically that took, depending on how close your integration needs were to the template, it took about 4 to 9 days. Now, for the last year, we've been working with embedding a generative AI, and we've had it out there now for about 3 weeks in production. And we're finding that depending again on the integration, it's getting the time down now to about 3 to 6 days to build an integration. So we've taken something that used to take a couple months, and literally in 20 years, we've got it down to about a week. So we're really looking forward to rolling out this new release. And here are the key benefits. First of all, it's going to decrease the amount of time you spend coding, because the generative AI will actually write all the scripts, or help you write the scripts. It obviously, because it improves accelerates the time to build, it lowers the cost. Again, accelerating the project timeline. Cuts down on errors because the code that it's generating is better than at least I can write. And reduces a lot of the manual effort involved in building out and mapping and things like that for integrations. And finally, it makes scaling a little easier, because you can rapidly make changes to your maps, add in new integrations rather quickly. So we're going to start out by talking about the SQL query writing capabilities. And so this is considered by our guys one of the more time-consuming processes, is to build your own SQL queries and embed them in the Starfish. But now we use the AI to do it. And so simply AI will generate the complete SQL select statements, so that you don't have to do that anymore. And of course, the benefit is it enables users without SQL experience to write SQL queries, and it reduces the database management workload, because the queries that it does write are very optimized. And we're going to switch this over now to a demo and to Aaron.
Hey, good morning. Okay, so I have here a Starfish instance that's connected to a Cratio environment. You'll see right now I have a very basic statement here, select star from account or from contact. But if I wanted to come in here, I can click this AI assistant, and it's going to allow me to type a query kind of in like native language, and it will uh, parse that and try to build a SQL statement for me. And at the same time, I can tell it which tables uh, from my connection that I think it's going to need. So that actually feeds the data table structure into the AI data model, and it can more accurately then come up with a query. So I'm going to try something where I'm going to return some more data from contacts. So I'm going to say return the contacts combined full name. So like it's just storing the first and last name. So I want it to say come back in a single column. The job title and the contacts account name. And then I can even have it filter things as well. So I could say for contacts over the age of 30. And then here is where I will choose the tables I want to return. So I'm going to choose account and contact because those are the two tables I know I'm going to need to pull from. I can find a lot of tables out here. Whoops, back up. Pass it. There we go. All right, and then you hit submit. And that was pretty quick. It went out there, and given those two tables, it went ahead and it's concatenating some fields together, the first name or given name, the middle name and last name or surname as a single column. It's returning the title and the name of the account. And so because I chose multiple tables, it's doing the join, and it detected kind of the field name and the structure on which to perform that join. And it also used my where or built out a where clause looking at the age field, looking for records that are greater than 30. So if I just click OK, pop that in there, I can do a test connection. And it came back with some data. And there we go. And then you could even enhance that a little more. Let's say if I wanted to do sort of the same thing, I'm going to say return the contacts combined full name, job title, and contacts account name for contacts over the age of 30. And let's say based on that data, the job title, we want just to say and whose job title suggests they are a manager. You could say something like that. Now I want to choose those same tables again, account and contact, submit. And now it added an additional clause onto the where clause saying where job title like contains the word manager. So now if I preview this again, I should just get people who whose titles say manager. Right. I'm gonna go ahead and hand it back to you, Sam.
So now we're going to demo Starfish field mapping. Remember, mapping used to be all done by hand, but now the actual AI inside of Starfish will actually map it for you or make suggestions on source and destination mappings. And so why is this important? Because it's going to reduce the number of errors. It reduces the time to map things. And as you're using it, we're learning. It's learning from every map that we build, so that it's getting better and better at doing maps for future projects. And with that, we'll see a demo from Aaron.
Yep. Okay. So again, I'm looking at a connection here. This is between Creatio and HubSpot. So I have a connection here where I'm reading in deals from HubSpot. I'm going to be writing to Creatio. And I have created a stage here, but there's nothing in it, just for opportunities. So we used to have an auto map feature out here, but we've really improved that now with the AI. So what it presents you with first is a list of all the fields inside the destination. This process of doing the AI field mapping can take a little time, uh, and it takes longer the number of fields that you have. So if you're really only interested in mapping a few fields, you could just choose the ones you're really just interested in. Or if you just leave the selection open, you don't choose anything, then by default it's going to try and map everything, or at least anything that it thinks is a good match. So it just looked at the fields that I had from the origin and tried to find what it considers the best uh, possible matches for some of these fields. Now, looking at them, like, okay, amount, obviously that works. Like closed region, that's probably good. Created on deal name matched to title, that sounds reasonable. You may have a little cleanup with the deal stage and type because that's mapping to an ID field. You might need to change that to map to the name field instead, so I'll not check that one. But description also looks like a good match. So you can just choose the ones that it suggested that you are now reviewing, you think they look good, and when you hit map selected fields, it goes ahead and maps them straight over. All
And so, our goal here is to certainly accelerate. Next slide. Accelerate the building of the maps. And so our goal with that is obviously we're hoping to get better in the future as it learns more. But the idea is that now you can start out with at least partial maps, and you don't have to take time hand coding the stuff that's obviously mapping. So now we go to script writing, and script writing again was manual, and we had to do everything in C# or VB script or Python or JavaScript. But now the AI will actually help you write those scripts. So it can perform lookups, log data, work on cross-reference lists. And again, this is our benefit is that it's going to accelerate the time you take to build out Starfish maps, and it'll actually put more power for non-technical users who are really the data analysts who understand what the data is and how it has to work can now do that those scripting. So with that, we're going to go back to Aaron and see a little demo.
Okay, so let's say we're mapping contacts, and we're dealing with a system that wants the address to all be in a single field. Say we want to kind of combine all the address fields and city, state, zip all into a single field. You could like concatenate those with variables, or you could write a script that does it for you. Um, I'm going to go ahead and ask the AI assistant to do that for me. So I'm going to say return a combined full address. And so you're telling it what you want this script or function to do for you. And then oftentimes you're going to be needing to evaluate fields from your origin as you're doing that. So you can help it out by telling which fields are going to be needed for this calculation. So I'm choosing address, city, country, and I'm going to choose zip and state. So I'm going to go ahead and hit submit. And it's going to build out that script for me. So it's pulling in the origin field address, so it knows the kind of the Starfish syntax for referencing fields for your origin. This model has on our knowledge base and the scripted functions that are available to Starfish. So not only can it do general scripting, but it also knows how to do things within Starfish itself. So there you go. It's combining the address. It put a comma in here between city and state, and it's going to build out a function like that. So I guess to demonstrate the some of the Starfish functions, we could try something like return combined full address, and you could say something like, say you want to skip the row if it doesn't meet some criteria. You could say, but skip the row if the state is blank, something like that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and choose those fields again: address, city, country, zip, and state. Submit. So now it's asking you to do something that would be kind of unique to Starfish, right? So skip a row. So there you go. So it's evaluating the state field, and if it's blank, then it's going to call the go to next row function. So that's a function within Starfish that is going to go ahead and skip the row. But if it wasn't blank, it's going to go ahead and continue what it needed to do with the script and fill that out. The other neat thing about this is it's detecting that I'm in VBScript, but it can actually function for any of these programming languages. So if I started in C# and came out here and did the same AI assistant, it would generate that same function, but this time in C# and so forth. And we not only have the scripting kind of at the field mapping level, but it's also available to you at the pre and post process level. So if you wanted to do a VB script or C# procedure up here, you can use that here as well. And it's also available from the global code section. So you can have it write global functions and things like that for you.
Okay, so our integration, we have now field mapping, script writing, and SQL query writing all built in. And hopefully this will make your life a lot easier when you're doing technical types of Starfish jobs. It will adapt to complex scenarios. We can make integrations more robust. It is scalable. It's definitely going to increase the time it takes to write a new integration. I'm sorry, decrease the time it takes to write a new integration. Sorry about that. So let's talk about some Q&A here. Are these features included? And the answer is yes, they are. It's already in the product today. If you're on premise, you'll need to get a refresh because it's right now sitting in a cloud edition, but otherwise it's available. They were live as of October 1st, so we've been using them for a month and testing them out ourselves internally. This Can the AI recognize and map complex data structures? The answer to that is yes, it can. You're going to hear yes a lot from us on these questions. Is there a feedback loop that allows AI to learn from user corrections and domain specific data? and how it influences future performance? And the answer is yes, it can. And that's what's happening. Your maps are being fed back to the AI when you edit them, and so that it's learning, continually learning from every map that's being built using the AI. Does it look at your data and include it in a large language model? That would be no. So we're not taking any data. We're working only at the metadata level, which is the mapping level. We're not touching or looking at any data whatsoever. Can I override the AI generated maps if there's an inaccuracy or that doesn't align to a specific business rule? And the answer is yes, you can. In fact, when you do that, the AI will actually learn from that. So yeah, when you do correct it, and you should be looking, anything that's AI generated should always be reviewed. Don't assume it's always correct. But as it's learning, it'll get better and better. Um, can it adapt to field mapping and script logic for both real-time data streams and batch processing scenarios? And the answer is yes, it can. Does that already. Is there a comprehensive training available for partners on how to effectively use and demo the AI feature? What support channels are in place for troubleshooting? And that is, first of all, yes, it is. You can use should be opening tickets. If you find that it's grossly making mistakes, please open a ticket on that so we can review it and train it better. And can the AI features be disabled or selectively used? And the answer is yes, it can. So you don't have to use the AI. It's just that's going to make your life a lot easier. So what's next? Next release of Starfish, we're working on now. We're going to load balancing on our cloud environment, so we should get a higher level of performance from Starfish. We have a total of 4 servers online today, and we have 2 sitting in standby. And the load balancing, I think it might even happen tonight, but that is what's coming out for the load balancing portion of it. And then from the actual Starfish tools, we're going to be doing a lot more server monitoring. So we'll be able to report not only jobs that have failed, but you'll get reports on how many jobs are in your queue, how many jobs are waiting to be processed, how long are jobs taking to process. Information like that will now be readily available so you can analyze your jobs better. And that's really our goal for the next release. Are you getting excessive amounts of errors? We actually, when we started running these reports ourselves, we found one customer was having hundreds of thousands of errors every night, which of course slows down their jobs. And so we were able to go in immediately and fix some of their problems and reduce that. So that'll also help you. And then we're also monitoring how much data you're pulling. So if you've poorly written a job, that you'll see that there's an excessive amount of data that's being pulled, and we can help you rewrite that job to be more efficient, which will run better. And that's the reason, the whole purpose of monitoring for us is to help find the problem jobs and fix them so that we can make them more efficient. And now we're into questions and answers. Questions for Aaron.
Okay, one person said they love this and they are very excited to use it. We're excited too.
Yeah, we really want you all to use it and report back on when you're having issues. Obviously, we've been playing with it for a month, but live testing is the best way.
Exciting enhancement. Question. Will you need to select those features, those fields every time, such as address, city, state, etc., when you're using the AI?
Hey, yeah, this is Aaron. You don't have to. It will try to guess the fields if you don't select them, but you will get much more accurate results if you do kind of assist it and giving it hints about what fields you're probably going to use. And it doesn't always even uh, necessarily use all the ones you're suggesting that you may need, right? So feel free to select maybe more than you may need, or you leave it unchecked. But yeah, if you do feel you are going to need certain fields in a calculation or something like that, say you wanted to figure out the average for some set of data and it needs to calculate on two fields, it really does help for you to tell it which two fields you're talking about. You could always let it generate something and then go back and edit it and fill in the fields yourself later. But it's like I said, it's probably just better if you do select those.